Be with us around 12 minutes away from 9 o'clock. The current fuel hikes, enough, and I'm not joking, to make one consider to travel by bicycle if you have the option. Mid-month data from the Central Energy Fund showing all of us that we're going to face a lot more pain at the pumps, and this one's really going to hurt this coming April. AA of South Africa spokesperson Layton here to weigh in on all of this. Hello to you, Layton. So bring more tears to my eyes, will you? I mean, just how much worse is this going to be? I was seeing reports yesterday for diesel drivers, upwards of R3, 95 upwards of R2. Is there any way we can get out of this one, or is it inevitable?
No, it's inevitable, Gareth. I think when we look at the data that's coming through from the Central Energy Fund, we're looking at increases to petrol of around R2.15 a litre. We're looking at increases of around R3 for diesel. Very worrying, around R2.50 for illuminating paraffin, which is a big concern, especially as we're heading into winter. So these increases are unfortunately inevitable, and they're going to have a huge impact, not only on motorists, as we've said before, but on every single consumer in the country. And
I know that the AA has been very vocal. Layton, you and I have spoken about it. I'm sure you've spoken to many other people about the levies. Can we just have a levy conversation again? So this increase that's coming up now, of that, I don't know if we have the exact numbers, of the increases you just mentioned, how much of that is a levy?
So the increases are to the basic fuel price only. The levies are set and are there throughout. So if you look at the fuel price at the moment, R3.93 goes to the general fuel levy, R2.18 goes to the road accident fund levy, and that is a set amount.
Okay.
The figures that it increases and decreases are to the basic fuel price only. So those levies are static for a year. They get adjusted annually in April. Fortunately, this year, the government heeded the AA's calls not to increase those levies, so they will remain static for 2022 as well, which is good news. But combined, the two big levies contribute R6.11 to every litre of fuel. Now, Gareth, there's been calls that we should scrap the levies and that the levies should be done away with. The issue with scrapping the levies is the following. You're generating around R90 billion to the fiscus every year through the general fuel levy. Now, that goes to Treasury, and that can be used for anything government sees fit. It can be used for road-related costs, but it can be used to build schools. It can be used to buy medicines for clinics. It can be used for anything. The issue that government has is because it's generating this R90 billion annually, and it's an easy tax to collect, and it's a very fair tax in the sense that everybody contributes to it. Where do you generate that amount of money if you were to scrap that levy? How do you replace that amount of money if you take that general fuel levy out of the picture? One of the things the AA is saying is let's relook at the road accident fund levy, the R2.18 we're paying on every litre of fuel, because that R2.18 is going to an institution which in our view is poorly managed. It's not well run at all. It's in severe debt at the moment. We think more needs to be done in terms of the RAF itself. And the RAF is there because South Africans are reliant on the RAF. And why are we reliant on the RAF? Because we have such a poor road safety record in South Africa. So it's a very complex debate, but we need to be looking at road safety, strangely, as a way of reducing our reliance on the RAF and therefore reducing the fuel levy that is paid to the RAF. There are many discussions that are happening in terms of how we can mitigate against rising costs. The DMRE yesterday said we need to put a cap on the number of litres people can buy. How they're going to police that, I'm not sure. But at the moment, certainly the outlook isn't very positive. It's very bad. And our advice to people is to brace themselves because this is going to be an uphill battle.
And Layton, I want to just move away from the levy discussion, and thanks for clarifying, because people were tweeting me when we promoted your interview earlier this morning saying, please ask Layton about the levy. So I'm glad you clarified on that. So let's talk about that basic fuel price then. So it's going up mid-April, we understand. What do you believe is the chances of it hitting this astronomical number of R40 per litre? Is that something that you just see as being realistic, or is that an absolute worst-case scenario? Is it in the realms of reality?
Look, anything is in the realms of reality, Gareth, but you've got to look at the figures as they come through every day. The fuel price is adjusted on the first Wednesday of every month, and what the DMRE does when it adjusts that price is it looks at the averages of certain costs. And the two main costs that it looks at is the average of international oil over a period of a month, and it looks at the value of the rand against the US dollar over a period of a month.
Yeah.
And based on the averages that those two factors give you, they either realize what is known as an under recovery or an over recovery. If there's an under recovery, then you see a price hike. If there's an over recovery, you see a price decrease. Now, when you look at those averages, that gives you the picture that you need to see in terms of making an adjustment for the following month. To determine what the rand is going to do against the US dollar in a week's time is virtually impossible. There are some measurements you can do, but to determine what the oil price is going to do in 2 weeks' time is also incredibly difficult. So if you were to say to me, are we going to see 40 rand a litre in 2 months' time, I could give you a figure, but it would be highly speculative. And I wouldn't want to speculate.
Yeah, and I think that's why we need to be careful of the speculation as well, Layton. And I appreciate it. So I had to just squeeze in that last question before the next person I meet at a garage is going to yell at me for not asking about 40 rand a litre. But I appreciate it. I really do. I wonder what the prices of bicycles are at the moment. AA spokesperson Layton Beer telling me, Gareth, you're fat. Time to get on a bicycle. He's not wrong. He's not wrong. But winter's coming. I don't want to ride
Winter's
in
coming.
the cold. Layton, he's just unkind to me. Who wants to ride in the cold?